there, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Fireballs and F-Bombs. Everybody have a good few days. Hi, Missy. How's everybody doing? I am finally starting up with the states again. We are at Pennsylvania. The next state will be Rhode Island. We're going into the R's. We have done every state so far in alphabetical order, and Rhode Island is the next. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 states left. So yeah, so I'm getting back into the groove. I'm getting back into the states. I'm trying to get caught up with everything. So I'm trying to get this thing died, and it's restarted from factory, and I'm trying to get it updated and all that. So I'm dealing with that at the same time. Okay. But yeah, I've been super busy. I have been completely cleaning and decluttering and packing. They came and did the video and the pictures of my house. Thank you, Missy.
You ready?
Yeah, I started already. Could you just shut my door so I don't hear your TV? Thank you. I'm sorry. I should have shut it. Can you get it, or you want me to get it? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have grabbed it. I should have shut it. Mom's coming out, so I didn't want us to hear her TV. Okay. Anyway, they came 2 days ago and took all the pictures and videos and everything to get my house put on the market. Today, I have done all of the paperwork, the documents, everything to get the house on the market. So it's probably going to go on the market tomorrow. No. So my truck, I sold my truck, and then my house will be going on the market officially as of tomorrow. They've already got the sign out front. So I wish, Missy, I wish you were closer, because we're going to have a little shindig. The girls are coming, that weekend of July 17th, 18th, and 19th. So we're going to have like a little shindig, our last little shindig here in the house. God, my glasses are so dirty. And we're going to have a barbecue, and we're going to have games. And I have this big old blow up pool I'm going to blow up and put outside since it's hot. And, we're just going to make a day out of barbecue and chicken and hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. So anyway, everybody's coming. Everybody's coming. My neighbors, my friends that I used to work with and currently work, well, not currently, but anywho. Anyway, so we're planning that. So I wish, Missy, you could be here for that. That's going to be a good time. So, but tonight we are finally getting into Pennsylvania's most haunted. So, anything I should know before we get started? Anything new? Not new? Anything I should know? Not many people were expecting me to come on tonight. That's why, I never had a lot of people in here on a Friday or Saturday night because, it's the beginning of their weekend. So they're probably, out and having a good time and stuff like that. But it is the only night that I had a chance. No, I said no already. It is the only night I have a chance to do it. I have to go back to work tomorrow. I am off on Sunday, but I'll be working outside with the babies on Sunday. So here on out, I will be just packing my house and traveling back and forth to Georgia, looking for a place. So, I don't know if, oh, nice. That's fucking awesome. It's warm in here. It is. It's warm in here. I think I'm having a hot flash at the moment. Let me turn on my fan. I should have turned my fan on before I started, but I didn't. We're just going to get that turned on. Oh, gosh. Oh, God, yeah, that's good. That's much better. My goodness. So anyway, we're going to get started here with Pennsylvania. Now, the first one, I'm good. How are you? The first one I have now is it was a high of 95 here today. It was so muggy. I had to do their pools and mud holes. And then I have an extra fan that I, going from pin to pin, and I let them all have, air getting blown on them a little while. Yes, retired, but yes, I went back and still working on that. So let's get started here on haunted Pennsylvania, shall we? Now, the first one I have is the Eastern State Penitentiary Hospital, and this is in Philadelphia. Now, this was opened in 1829, and this was the world's first true penitentiary, and it was built specifically to inspire genuine regret and reform through solitary confinement and labor. This massive institution housed nearly 85,000 inmates over its 142 years of operation before it closed in 1971, the year I was born. Now, the prison pioneered the Pennsylvania system, or separate system. Inmates were kept in complete isolation from one another. They lived in single, skylit cells. They ate alone and were required to work on crafts inside their rooms to offset the cost of their incarceration. The theory is that profound solitude would lead to true remorse. To ensure absolute isolation and anonymity, inmates were forced to wear hoods over their heads whenever they were moved outside. Excuse me. Whiskey, you're going to have to get out of the room. I'm not going to sit here and no, ma'am. Jesus. This is why I try to have all this done before I get started. Anyway, the controversial nature of strict solitary confinement caused the prison to officially abandon the practice by 1913. Upon its completion, it was the largest and most expensive public structure in the U.S. It was equipped with flushing toilets and central heating even before the White House had them. Some of the inmates that were kept there was Al Capone. The infamous mobster was imprisoned there in 1929 on a weapons charge. His cell was notably outfitted with fine furniture, rugs, and a radio. What's the point? Willie Sutton. Now, this famous bank robber, known as Slick Willie, was one of the 12 inmates who dug a 100-foot escape tunnel in 1945. Now, after closing the prison in 1971, the abandoned facility was declared a U.S. National Historic Landmark. Today, it operates as a site dedicated to criminal justice education. So it's actually like a school or college. Visitors can tour the vaulted, crumbling cell blocks using an audio guide narrated by actor Steve Buscemi, my favorite actor. The grounds are also well known for a massive fall festival when it precedes funding ongoing preservation efforts. Yeah. So now, over its 142 years of operation, the prison saw over 1,400 recorded inmate deaths, hundreds of which were caused by severe epidemics like TB, rampant suicides, and violence. Now, this place was built in 1829. And it relied on strict solitary confinement to force inmates to reflect and become penitent. However, the severe isolation caused many inmates to go insane. To maintain absolute silence, wardens enforced brutal punishments for infractions. They used the iron gag. This is a 5-inch metal prong placed in the mouth and chained to an inmate's cuffed hands. A 5-inch metal prong placed in the mouth and chained to an inmate's cuffed hands. So basically, if you pull it, ugh. Okay, so the mad chair, they strapped inmates so tightly they would lose circulation, leaving them bound without food for days. And they would do water baths, and they would dunk the inmates in ice cold water and hang them on the walls outside of their cells through the freezing winter. Hundreds of deaths were also logged in the original death ledgers from 1830 onward, citing diseases, suicides, and murders. So I'm sure, like, if you go there and you are taking the tour, I'm sure you can look in the book and see where all, back then they didn't have the computers yet. So they wrote, what their charge was and who they are and blah, 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 how they died. Now, since the prison was abandoned, visitors, guards, and prominent paranormal investigators have reported terrifying encounters, dark silhouettes, and cold spots across multiple cell blocks. Opinions on the paranormal activity remain a mix of true belief and skepticism, but the stories are numerous. Now, in Al Capone's cell, Capone famously served a relatively comfortable sentence at this penitentiary in the early 1930s. He reportedly screamed in his cell, begged someone named Jimmy to leave him alone, believed by many to be the ghost of James Clark, a victim of the St. Valentine's Day massacre. In cell block 4, it's described as having a deeply negative and oppressive energy. Visitors have reported sudden feelings of overwhelming sadness, weeping, and seeing tormented faces materialize in front of them and then disappear. Cell block 6 is known for shadowy black silhouettes and figures darting around the hallways. In cell block 12, it's famous for echoes of cackling, cussing, and phantom footsteps. Cell block 15, which was death row. the site of some of the most threatening paranormal activity with reports of dark entities and physically touching or scratching visitors. I don't think I'd want to go to the death row though. That's not where I would rather just go to the regular cells. I'd try to avoid the dark shit. Oh shit! What did I just hit? Crap!
I just built a budgeting app for Base 44.
Oh crap! I just hit something. Hush. Go away. No. I'm not trying to play something. No.
Ghost Hunters. Jason and Grant investigate an historic 19th century penitentiary.
I'm just trying to hit fucking pause.
That's the pause cell right over here.
Hang on a minute. I'll get this figured out. I hit something by mistake. Okay. So the show Ghost Hunters, they investigated this penitentiary. It was season 1, episode 5. It was TAPS. That's my favorite paranormal team to watch. TAPS. I really like them a lot. But this was, it doesn't say what year they did it. Anyway, the Ghost Hunters there, TAPS, those guys were there, and the Kelly and her brother Osborne were there doing their investigation here as well. Now, number 2, I have the Gettysburg National Military Park. Now, everybody has heard of Gettysburg, right? Everybody knows about the massacre. Everybody has heard how haunted this Gettysburg Park, this battlefield is, correct? Now, this place was opened in 1895, and it was the site of the 1863 American Civil War battle. Now, it was established in 1895. The park encompasses the battlefield, I can't even talk straight, Gettysburg National Cemetery, the David Wills House, and the Eisenhower National Historic Site serve as a memorial to the fallen, and the site of Lincoln Gettysburg's address. So all of that is in this Gettysburg National Park. The Battle of Gettysburg, it took place from July 1st to July 3rd in 1863. They fought over 3 days. The Union victory successfully repelled General Robert E. Lee's invasion of the North. It became the bloodiest battle in the Civil War, with over 51,000 casualties, and recognized as a major turning point in the conflict. The Gettysburg Address, it took place November 19th, 1863. President Abraham Lincoln delivered his historic address during the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery, honoring the fallen and redefining the Union cause. In 1864, while the war was still ongoing, local leaders established the Battlefield Memorial Association to preserve the Union's Army's battle lines and early monuments. In 1895, the federal legislation officially transferred the deeds to the U.S. War Department, creating the National Military Park. Early litigation over the park established important legal precedents regarding federal eminent domain. In 1933, the park's administration was transferred from the War Department to the National Park Service. There's been modern expansion and interpretation. The state-of-the-art museum and visitor center opened in 2008 to house the Gettysburg Foundation Civil War collections, artifacts, and the iconic cyclorama. I don't know what that is. Like I said, it was over 50,000 casualties what they're out of killed, wounded, and the ones that went missing. Because of the extreme trauma and tragic loss of life, the town and its historic battlefield have gained a reputation of one of the most haunted places in the United States. It says total casualties was between 51,000 and 57,000 were casualties, creating a grim reality where bodies had to be buried in shallow, hasty graves across farms and rock crevices. No. Go away. Jenny Wade, Mary Virginia Jenny Wade, was the only civilian killed during the battle. She was 20 years old and struck by a stray bullet on the morning of July 3rd while baking bread in her sister's kitchen. Now, the makeshift hospitals, every building in town, including the Gettysburg Orphanage, was converted into a hospital, resulting in hundreds of amputations and agonizing deaths in confined spaces. Later, it was found that these amputated parts were found underneath the buildings. Now, the famous ghost sightings that has been there, the Little Round Top and Devil's Den, often called the Slaughter Pen. These rocky formations are hotspots for paranormal activity. Visitors and researchers frequently report hearing disembodied musket fire, phantom footsteps, and the apparition of a Union drummer boy named Gideon. The Jenny Wade House, located in the East Cemetery Hill. Hello, Mandy. The home where Wade died is famously haunted. That's the girl that was baking bread and that got shot while she was baking bread in her house. The guests claimed to hear disembodied voices and footsteps and witness floorboards moving on their own there. Now, the Rose Farm and Iverson's pits. Many who walk the fields of the Rose Farm describe drops in temperature, phantom smells of gunpowder, and residual apparitions of charging soldiers. Now, I have seen videos. I know everybody has gone onto YouTube and looked at the Gettysburg videos. Have you not? Am I wrong? You've seen videos of what looks like soldiers walking right in front of, that you can see that looks like, the see-through soldier spirits in people's videos and stuff. But I would absolutely love to visit there and to investigate there. Now, there has been a book written called American Hauntings and the Ghosts of Gettysburg. They have documented the first-hand accounts of these spirits and the sheer volume of trauma and unclosed chapters of the area's history. You can go to history.com into the articles of Gettysburg ghosts, and you can find it and also read more about those in there. Now, the third one I have is called the Farnsworth House Inn. This is also in Gettysburg. Now, this is at 401 Baltimore Street. It is a Civil War landmark built in 1810. Famous for its bullet-scarred brick exterior, it served as a Confederate sniper hideout and makeshift hospital during the 1863 Battle of Gettysburg and is now operated as a bed and breakfast. It's also known as a very hot paranormal, well, they call it a paranormal hotspot. Now, in 1810, the original portion of the house was built by John McFarland with a main brick structure added in 1833. The Battle of Gettysburg, well, in the last one, though, it said that every building in the town of Gettysburg was made into a makeshift hospital. I believe it said, did it not, when we were at the last one? So, and during the Battle of Gettysburg, owned by Harvey Sweeney, the house found itself as an epicenter of the conflict. Confederate sharpshooters occupied the upper levels, and the exterior still bears over 100 bullet holes. Now, the Jenny Wade incident is a consensus among locals that a fatal stray shot fired from the vicinity of the Farnsworth house struck and killed Jenny Wade, the only civilian casualty in the battle. Now, following the battle, the home was converted into a field hospital to treat wounded Union and Confederate soldiers. The property was purchased by George and Verna Black in the early 20th century, and it operated as a lodge that advertised its Civil War bullet holes. In 1972, Loring and Gene Schultz purchased the property, restoring it to its 1863 appearance, and renamed it the Farnsworth House in honor of Brigadier General Elon Farnsworth. The end today, the Schultz family continues to operate the building as an inn, restaurant, and event space. Damn, somebody's shooting close by outside. Shit. It says that due to its heavy casualties during the Civil War, the Farnsworth House Inn is widely considered one of the most haunted locations in America. The location offers year-round ghost tours, candlelit morning theater in the Victorian-era basement, and overnight accommodations. Now, during the 1863 Battle of Gettysburg, the upper floors of the home were seized by Confederate sharpshooters, many of whom were killed during confrontations. The building was transformed into a makeshift field hospital where numerous wounded soldiers died. Additionally, a stray bullet fired from the attic Farnsworth house is widely believed to have struck Jenny Wade, the only civilian killed. Now, the ghosts that have been reported and documented, spirits of Confederate and Union troops are reportedly seen patrolling the grounds and are known to create pockets of frigid cold spots. Now, Sarah Black, named after a former family owner, the Sarah Black Room is considered one of the most active in this house. Guests and ghost hunters frequently photograph spirit activities from outside in the window. The midwife, a spirit of a former midwife nurse, has been known to tuck guests into bed or visit them in the dead of night. Guests have said that they have seen her cleaning their room and attempting to make the bed while they are laying in it. There's also a ghost cat. A transparent cat is frequently felt rubbing against visitors' ankles, and one couple even captured a glowing image of it sitting on their shoulder. Mm-hmm. That part is it sucks, because when you're in your own house, you don't even go out, you're minding your business, you're at home, you're in there baking, and the war's going on outside, and you're scared already, and the bullet flies in your fucking house and shoots you dead in the kitchen while you're baking. Now that would suck. That would be terrible. The next one is called Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia. This was commissioned in 1771 and located on Mud Island in the Delaware River. It's the oldest fortification continually used in the United States. Famous for its heroic defense during the Revolutionary War, the fort allowed George Washington to regroup at Valley Forge before serving as a Civil War prison. It's also known as, quote, the fort that saved America, unquote. The construction was designed by British engineer John Montresor to protect the colony of Philadelphia. Americans recognized its strategic importance and finished construction in 1775. Excuse me. After capturing Philadelphia, the British needed the Delaware River open for naval supplies. In November 1777, the British launched a massive bombardment. Out of around 400 defenders, nearly 250 were killed and wounded, but the garrison held out for weeks. By sacrificing the fort, the garrison held up the British fleet, preventing an attack from Washington's Continental Army and giving them vital time to endure the winter encampment at Valley Forge. It was heavily dismantled, but it was completely rebuilt in 1794 back to its original. During the Civil War, the military base was used as a prison camp to hold Confederate prisoners, Union soldiers, and civilian prisoners. It was utilized as a Navy munitions depot through both World War I and World War II. The U.S. Army decommissioned it as a military base in 1962. Last Friday afternoon, the high school around the corner let out, and a couple of kids were on front porch being shot at by someone with a BB gun. We alerted police, and it's, oh my gosh. At least it was just a fucking BB gun. Damn. I mean, are they sure it was a BB gun? That's crazy. Now, this was named as a national landmark in 1970. This is also known as the Ghost City of Philadelphia. This has a violent history marked by fierce bombardments, yellow fever outbreak, and deadly Civil War prison conditions. This centuries-old suffering made it one of America's most notoriously haunted locations, drawing visitors for regular tours and investigations. The fort suffered a devastating British artillery siege. Hundreds of lives were lost, and defenders were blown apart or buried in the rubble. A lot were never found. Yellow fever. During the 1790s yellow fever epidemics, the fort was used as a refuge and quarantine site, resulting in thousands of agonizing deaths. And serving as a Union prison, up to 45 Confederate prisoners were crammed into damp, unsanitary, bomb-proof cells without proper light, bedding, or food, leading to high mortality rate, living in their own feces. Now, some of the ghosts that have been reported and documented from Fort Mifflin. The Faceless Man, the most unsettling spirit at the fort, is spotted in casemate number 5, which is cell number 5, or cell block 5. Witnesses describe a man hunched over who, when looked at, has no face. He has widely theorized to be William Howe, a Union private who was executed at the fort. There is a screaming woman often associated with Elizabeth Pratt, the wife of an Army sergeant. The spirit is said to let out a blood-curdling scream in her grief over the deaths of her children and husband. The lamplighter A ghostly figure of a man named Joseph Adkins is occasionally seen roaming the grounds carrying an old burning lamp. Visitors have also reported a friendly, unnamed Revolutionary War soldier offering tours in the powder magazine and the sounds of a phantom blacksmith in the former blacksmith shop. They say that it looks like he is actually in there working with the lights on and the noise going, but you enter and nothing's there. You can book tickets and learn about their dark folklore, and you can go and actually investigate there if you're a paranormal investigator. Number 5, we got the Pinhurst. Everybody has heard of the Pinhurst. There have been several ghost hunting shows that have gone to investigate Pinhurst, the Pinhurst State School and Hospital. And this is in Spring City. And it operated from 1908 to 1987. It was initially built to house around 500 individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It quickly became chronically overcrowded and grew into a notorious human warehouse plagued by systemic abuse, neglect, and severe understaffing. The facility was established at the Eastern Pennsylvania State Institution for the Feeble-Minded and Epileptic. Driven by prevailing eugenicist beliefs, society viewed individuals with disabilities as defects and aimed to quarantine them from mainstream people. It was designed for 500, but the campus was hopelessly overcrowded and eventually housed up to 3,500 residents at its peak. 1968, the harrowing conditions were brought to national attention by a 5-part news report by journalist Bill Baldini on NBC 10. You can read that. It's called Suffer the Little Children. The documentary exposed several patient neglect, physical abuse, lack of proper staff training, and residents left to regress in squalor. In 1974, a lawsuit was filed on behalf of patient Terry Lee Halderman after she suffered unexplained injuries. This landmark case set constitutional precedents and highlighted massive human rights violations. The prolonged legal battles over the Halderman case ultimately triggered the closure of this facility. It served as a major catalyst for the modern disability rights movement. It significantly contributed to the shift towards community care settings and paved the way for Americans with Disabilities Act. Today, it has been revised as a controversial season-haunted attraction. The site is frequently cited for its turbulent supernatural reputation. However, the campus is also home to historic initiatives where former employees and advocates preserve the uncensored educational history of the institution. Pinhurst housed over 10,000 individuals, not at one time, but over 10,000 in total for the years that it was open. A landmark 1968 investigative report exposed horrific conditions, including patient torture, rampant disease, and severe staff neglect. Historical records indicate that a large percentage of the admitted patients died at the facility, with many interred in mass or unmarked graves on the property. Now, the reported and documented paranormal activity. In the administration building, the staff and visitors report the apparition of a little girl who seeks to play and give hugs. The Quaker building, believed to hold the spirits of children, visitors have documented sudden temperature drops, heard disembodied crying, and reported spontaneous movements of doors and rocking chairs. People that have visited there have brought toys which have moved and been played with by the spirits. Balls roll, the children's toys laugh, and the sound of them will, even without batteries in them. There's tunnels in Mayflower building. These underground areas are hot spots for electronic voice phenomena, the EVPs, shadow figures, and reports of unseen entities physically touching the visitors. People have claimed to have been slapped, punched, pushed, or pinched. Today, the location is a heavily debated site. While parts of it operates as a commercial asylum for the fall season, many express deep concern that the site of such tragedy is used as a funhouse. You can book a paranormal investigation and conduct your own ghost investigations from Sunday through Thursday. You would have to book ahead. It doesn't give prices or anything like that. It doesn't say that it charges you. I don't think it's free though, but it does allow people to investigate. I'd go there. I'd go to Pennhurst and investigate that for sure. 100%. Now, number 6. We've got the Historic Hotel Bethlehem. Now, this dates back to 1941. The current 1922 landmark was built with backing from steel tycoon Charles Schwab. It has hosted world leaders and celebrities, and has been named the #1 best historic hotel in the country. 1741, Moravian missionaries constructed the first house of Bethlehem on the property. In 1823, the area evolved into a Golden Eagle Hotel, a popular stop for Revolutionary War patriots and military leaders. In 1921, Charles Schwab, president of the Bethlehem Steel Corporation, acquired the site and spearheaded the construction of a new 200-plus room luxury building. In 1922, the Hotel Bethlehem officially opened its doors. The 30s and 40s operated under American Hotel Corporation. The hotel flourished during the Great Depression and hosted celebrities like Amelia Earhart, Winston Churchill, and John F. Kennedy. The 50s through the 90s, as the local industry economy declined, the hotel faced severe financial challenges and changes in ownership before shutting its doors. In 1999 to present, the property was purchased by local investors, fully restored to its original, and joined Historical Hotels of America in 2002. Okay. It embraces its haunted reputation for 4 famously recognized friendly spirits. Room number 932, nicknamed a room with a boo. This is the most paranormally active spot in the whole hotel. Guests have been woken up by a man standing at the end of their bed asking, "Why are you in my room?" telling him they have to get out. And then when they got up out of bed, he would vanish. They have received multiple calls in the middle of the night regarding this man. They have had people check out unexpectedly. And the May Yowie, born at the hotel in 1866, she became a Victorian actress who acquired and was later cursed by the Hope Diamond. Her spirit is known to sing and dance in the lobby or occasionally play the piano by herself. Francis Thomas, also known as Daddy, a fearless 18th century town guide and courier from 1732 to 1822 who is said to roam the hotel's boiler room. And Mrs. Brong, a 19th century landlady who was fired in 1833 because her husband drank too much. Staff in the kitchen and dining areas frequently report seeing her ghost walking around barefooted. I'd go there too. I'd investigate there. I wouldn't be scared, would you? I think y'all would. I think just about everybody who follows me for a period of time is so ready to go ghost hunting with me. But the same, they don't want the evil either. They just want to ghost hunt with the stuff. Now, number 7 is the Haunted Hillview Manor. Now, this opened in 1926. This is in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It opened in 1926 and it closed in 2004. Today, it is a paranormal hotspot. In 1926, the facility opened its doors to house the county's impoverished, elderly, and mentally ill who lacked family support. Residents who are often referred to as inmates and were required to work on the farm to earn their keep. In 1944, Perry and Mary Snyder, who managed the property, were forced to resign following allegation of mismanagement, fraud, and burying deceased residents in unmarked graves to collect their upkeep stipends. In the 1960s and 70s, the facility was remodeled, expanded, and renamed the Hillview Manor in 1977, shifting its primary focus to elderly care. In 2004, due to financial constraint, the county closed the building. It was privately purchased and later transformed into a destination for historical tours and paranormal investigations. Throughout its nearly 8-decade history, thousands of people lived and passed away on the property due to tragic circumstances, including several suicides from the roof and the history of unrecorded deaths. The sprawling 100,000 square foot facility is widely considered one of the most haunted locations in western Pennsylvania. Frequent reports from visitors include shadowy figures, poltergeist activity, and clear EVPs. Jeffrey, perhaps the manor's most famous ghost, he is purported to be about 6 or 7 years old, and he loves baseball. He will roll a ball, he'll throw a ball. If you roll a ball to him, he will return it. There is a Mary Virginia, a former resident who lived in room 105 for most of her life before the 2004 enclosure. Before it closed down in 2004. Apparently, she still checks in from time to time where she lived for so long. And Eli Sorry, a 65-year-old immigrant who tragically froze to death on the property in 1934 after wandering outside inebriated. Now, while it carries a dark history, it's managed to with strict preservation efforts. Visitors can explore the historic and allegedly haunted halls through public day. Excuse me, it's getting to be past my bedtime. There have been Yes, I would absolutely go there and investigate. There has been numerous suicides, accidental deaths, a large number of unclaimed bodies were buried in unmarked graves around the property. They don't know who it is. I don't know if there was DNA taken or anything like that from back then. I don't know how they find those bodies and find out who they are, but a number of residents committed suicide by jumping off the building's roof. The boiler room, a man named Eli Sari died in the boiler room in December of 1934 after a night of heavy drinking and hypothermia. A 101-year-old woman in a wheelchair tragically fell to her death down one of the stairwells. And countless residents and patients with no records on file passed away and were buried in the on-site cemetery in unmarked graves. The famous ghosts that have been seen and documented is Jeffrey, a little boy who roams the halls. Folklore warns that seeing him carries a dark curse, though it usually treated as a playful spectral. He looks like a playful little ghost. Mary Virginia, room 105, her presence said to bring a heavy, uneasy energy into the room, which is heavily decorated with dolls and plastic necklaces left by visitors. I don't do dolls, y'all. Y'all know I don't do any kind of a doll. I don't care for dolls. The dolls kind of creep me out. I really don't care for dolls. Here is Mary Aiello, which is called Aunt Tina. She was a blind resident with obsessive compulsive disorder who was known to be loud and vivacious. Investigators claimed to hear her in the corridors and see her shadow spirit walking to the washroom. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. Okay. Paranormal teams report that Eli Sari reported that his spirit remains highly aggressive in the basement, occasionally demanding people to get out. And the balcony doors, motion sensors near the auditorium balcony doors are known to repeatedly trigger in the dead of night, swinging the heavy doors open with no logical explanation. I would absolutely investigate that place. I would be all about that place. I think y'all would absolutely be like, let's go. I'd be ready to go. Now, I also have the Old Jail Museum, and it's formerly known as the Carbon County Jail. Now, y'all know how I feel about old jails. I love going to old abandoned jails that used to be a working jail and that's still there and not being used anymore. Y'all know I love going to old prisons and old jails. I have never been to like an asylum before as an investigator, and that is a goal of mine I would like to go to one of the asylums that's a big asylum that used to be, hello, Tanya. But y'all know I've been wanting to go to one of those asylums because I've never been to one. But this one, now this was built in 1869. Hi, Tanya. We're doing the most haunted in Pennsylvania. We're in Pennsylvania now. This is built in 1869, and it's most famous for its association with the Molly Maguires and its mysterious, indelible handprint on the wall of the cell. Everybody knows Tom Tim is my sister-in-law. She's married to my bro. Okay. The jail is inextricably linked to the trials of the Molly Maguires, a secret society of Irish American coal miners fighting for better wages and working conditions. After being infiltrated by a Pinkerton detective, several miners were convicted of murder and 7 were executed by hanging in this jail's courtyard in 1877. Prior to the executions in 1877, accused Molly Maguire, Alexander Campbell proclaimed his innocence by leaving a muddy handprint on his cell wall, stating it would remain forever as proof of his wrongful conviction. Despite wardens trying to scrub it, paint over it, and even remove that section of the wall, the handprint continually returned and can still be seen there today. Now, this place is a fortress design. Now, this was designed by architect Edward Haviland and the 2-story stone fortress features massive walls and it continuously used as a prison until 1995. The warden's quarters. The complex uniquely included living quarters for the warden's family, whose meals were cooked in the same kitchen that prepared the foods for the prisoners. The dungeon, the jail, featured a dark subterranean level with 16 dungeon cells used for solitary confinement up until 1980. Today, the privately owned museum offers seasonal guiding tours that let you explore all of the cells, the solitary confinement area, and the reconstructed gallows. Now, this is famous for its dark history and paranormal activity and considered a ghost hotspot. In 1877 to 1878, executions of Irish coal miners known as the Molly Maguires, as well as the mysterious handprint that refuses to wash away and still can be seen to this day. Now, the condemned 20 members of the Molly Maguires were convicted of murder and labor-related crimes. 7 of these men met their deaths by hanging on gallows built in the jail's dungeon. The handprint, before being led to the gallows in 1879, suspected Molly Maguire Alexander Campbell pressed his hand against the wall of cell 17 to prove his innocence, and despite repeating scrubbing, painting, plastering, and mysterious print remains visible to this day, which basically proves his innocence and that he was murdered for nothing. He was killed for nothing. He was accused. Says the jail has a long-standing reputation as a hot spot for the supernatural, frequently ranking among the most haunted sites in the state. Visitors and staff have reported disembodied voices, unexplained cold spots, and transparent orbs in the cells. The dark dungeon, which was used for solitary confinement until 1980, is widely considered the most active area in the prison. Witnesses have reported hearing phantom footsteps and the sounds of heavy swinging ropes. They have regular tours, and you can book it to investigate yourself, your paranormal investigations. It doesn't say like prices or anything like that. So, but that's all I have. I mean, I can look up more if needed. That is all I have. I did the top 8 most haunted of Pennsylvania tonight. The next, what did I say it was? Rhode Island? Let me look again. The next state is, yes, it is Rhode Island will be the next state. Just going to go ahead and write it down. it has taken me a while to get through all of these states with everything going on and not being able to get on here too often and stuff like that. But we're getting there. We've made it to the R's. I would go to every single one of those places. Would you guys? I'm pretty sure you guys would probably go with me. But yeah, I would absolutely go to every one of those places and investigate that. Okay, so here's something interesting. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad too. It was unexpected. I wasn't even sure if I would be able to have it tonight. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get all of this ready because, like I said, I still had a whole bunch to do. I had to go get hay and feed and get that all put up and passed out and do the pools and the mud holes. And anyway, see, y'all know I get twice as busy when it comes to summer because in the summer I'm having to be outside doing their pools at least twice a day and get the mud hole in the middle of the day because it's so hot for them. Babies get in the pool. Their pool's either empty or dirty. So I'm so much busier during the summer. In the winter, they're not getting in the pools because their water's too damn cold. So I don't have as much work to do in the winter outside. The summers though are keep me busy. And plus now tomorrow I work and then I'm off Sunday and I work Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Pennsylvania is a big state for that topic. I used to show a documentary in my classes from on there. I will send it to you if I can find it. It's tough to watch though. See, there was a bunch more. I did the top 8 because I knew that the 8 would take up about the amount of time that I need for my podcast. So I did the 8. Because any time that I've had one and I do like 10, I'm running way over time. But anyway, so I don't know if y'all heard about it, but there was a tornado hit down off of the coast of Cuba. Okay. Was it a tornado? Anyway, something hit off of the coast of Cuba and it set off an earthquake, a 6.1 magnitude earthquake. And Florida had a fucking earthquake. It had anyway, Florida got all of the tremors from this. Yeah, the earthquake hit, a 6.1 magnitude earthquake hit off of the coast of Cuba. I did look. There's not any potential damage, no significant damage in Cuba, thank goodness either. But listen, I've never felt an earthquake. If I would have been outside working and the earth started shaking, I would have had to change my pants. Because I ain't never felt nothing like that. And if high trauma, no. But then 20 minutes from here, felt it. Orlando felt it. Jacksonville felt the earthquake. I didn't feel it, thank the Lord, because I would have freaked the fuck out. Right. No, Florida's not supposed to have earthquakes. But it did. And I'm glad I didn't feel it. Thank God I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here. Because, but Tanya, I sent Wheezy the video. Did you see it? Did he show it to you? I don't know what time he's coming home. He called me today. I told him about the party. Idaho has? Yeah, but aren't earthquakes
popular over there on the West Coast? He told me he was going to go home and talk to you about it. Because I told him about the party and the date, and he called me today, and we were chit-chatting, and I said, well, I told Tanya about it, and she said she would call me this weekend. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes, well, I'm sitting here at work, and I don't know if he had saw the picture I posted. I don't fucking know. Anyway, he knew, listen, my house is going on the market. It'll be officially on the market tomorrow. Oh, well, I sent him the video. They finally came the other day, and then they did all the pictures and the videos to put my house on the market. And the video that they did of my property was just fucking amazing. So I sent it. I sent it to him. So he said he was gonna. I figured he'd show it to you when he gets home. Is he not home yet? I don't know what time he was working till. I talked to him briefly because it was just about feed time, I think. I don't fucking remember. But anyway, I told him about the weekend and that we were having a barbecue. And I said, look, if that's something y'all would be interested in, or if y'all don't want to come to that one, y'all can just wait till I'm living up there by y'all, and y'all can come hang out with me when I get there. So whichever. Oh, he's in bed. Fuck that. Okay. I'll send it to you when I get off of here. You'll have to watch it through your browser. Trauma, if you want me to send it to you, I'll send it to you too. But yeah, my truck has been sold. My truck is gone. I miss it. They sold it within 3 days. They sold my truck. So whoever bought my truck, they have a good truck. They're going to love my truck. Anyway, my truck is gone. Now my house is going on the market. And yeah. So I've been busy. I'm trying not to, but because of all these different things I have going on, I might have to take a little break from the podcast. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to find the time to get in here and do it. If I don't have any podcasts for a hot minute, please just bear with me and just, I'll be back. I'm here. I'm just busy. I just walk around in pure exhaustion every day. And but I don't want anybody to give up on me. I'm still here. I'm still going to keep the podcast. I'm still going to get on whenever I can. The next state is Rhode Island, so I'm definitely going to get that. I'm still going to do the horoscopes, and stuff like that. Once I get moved and settled, I'm going to be able to relax a little bit, and then we can get back to normal. That's what I'm looking forward to, the aftermath. Because between now and then, I'm going to be fucking running around like a chicken with the head cut off, going in every different direction and packing and moving companies and building pens again and getting the new barn built, because I'm going to do the same exact barn at my new place. I'm just not going to make it as big. Well, my house is going on the market probably tomorrow officially, and I'm actively looking up in mid-Georgia. So, yeah, as soon as I can find something and mine goes under contract, however long, we'll see how long that's going to take. I don't know. But my house here it's very unique. I have acres. I have 8 acres. Not too big, not too small. I have a huge barn. I have a beautiful house. I've upkept it. My place is beautiful, and it should have no problem. Should have no problem selling. So, but I will keep everyone posted as well. I'll keep everyone posted what's going on. I talk to Missy daily and Annie daily, and it's middle Georgia, not mid Georgia. Oh, for God's sake. Well, thank you, Tanya. I'm going to be moving around where they are. They live in Middle Georgia, so I'm looking all around between Valdosta and Middle Georgia, and it takes me further away from the coast. I'm looking to move into a brick house, maybe 4 to 5 acres, and I won't be a cop in Georgia, but I will still be a cop here in Florida. I've already talked to my chief, and he's like, nope, you've always got a job here. So I can come down whenever I want and work for the events they have going on, or if I'm down visiting and I want to go to work, he's like, you just let me know ahead of time and come whenever you want to. I'm like, thank you very much. So that made me feel good. So I'll get it all figured out. And you never know. I might talk to somebody in Georgia and they might allow me to be a reserve up there because I'm not certified in Georgia. So I wouldn't be able to take a paying job in Georgia because I'm only certified in Florida. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I am going to stay live over on Clapper for a hot little minute so I can go out and close up the barn. And then I'm going to bed. I got to take some allergy medicine. Yeah, I'm sure I sound like I'm stuffed up. I can hear it. So I'll be talking to you guys soon. I will be back as soon as I can. I don't want to say a day for sure because, oh my God, then I'm going to get busy and then I'll feel bad that I don't get on when I promised or something. I don't want to make a promise I can't keep. I'm not like that. So, but thank you guys for being here. I love you guys.